Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3 Minute Horror Show. My name is Ben, your host, and I'm joined here with Edmonton filmmaker Brandon Reines. He's responsible for the Grotesque series of films and the I'm Haunted series of films. And we're going to be talking today we're going to continue our series on the Halloween movies. And we're going to be talking about Halloween from 2018. Now, on Brandon's YouTube channel, Brandon versus Movies, you can see our previous conversations about the Friday the 13th series, and there's going to be a Nightmare on Elm Street series coming up soon. So go ahead and subscribe to his channel, subscribe to mine while you're at it if you like hearing what we're talking about, and please share your comments, your opinions on these movies with us down below. All right. So we're going to talk about Halloween from 2018. This is the continuation after Halloween 2. We're going to ignore 3, of course. We're going to ignore 4, 5, and 6. We're going to ignore H2O. We're going to ignore Resurrection. And of course, we're going to ignore the Rob Zombie films because they occurred in a completely different Elsewhere's DC Comics universe. Somewhere, who knows? They did not happen in this universe. So the last time this is the first of the David Gordon Green trilogy, and they were written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, the comedic actor. They were produced by Malik Akkad, who was I believe, the son of Mustafa, the guy who was the producer of the original movies. And yeah, these are big budget Blumhouse pictures. And why don't you get us started off?
Yeah, I think this one it launched the modern version of Michael Myers in the Halloween series, and this is the one where I really noticed it take off in the horror community.
Yeah,
The Halloween hadn't been talked about so much in recent years. When this one came out, all of a sudden everyone loved Michael Myers again in the Halloween series, and all of a sudden it was the coolest thing ever.
yeah,
And it was a good movie. It had like a fundamental like plot flaw to it, which I'll get into. But
yeah,
overall, it was a really freaking good movie. It was just very well done. In a way, it was kind of a tease because it didn't necessarily continue as good as this. We'll get into those when we cover those movies. But at least for this one, it was like, holy shit,
yeah,
that was a really, really good Halloween movie. Now, the major flaw is this one, it was basically ignored everything after the first one. I
yeah.
think it even ignored the second one. I think this movie makes more sense if everything up till six is, or up till eight even, is still canon. It makes more sense that way.
Okay.
If you just ignore that maybe the whole Thorn thing was just not real. I don't know. You kind of have to do some mental gymnastics to make that movie make sense. But the thing is, in this one, Laurie Strode is now like in her 60s, and she's basically this crazy paranoid woman who lives on this property with like booby traps. She's got
Yeah,
guns and security because she thinks that Michael Myers will one day come back. Which, when you think about it, does not really make sense because Michael has been locked up for 40 years and has
yeah,
never escaped in their version. It's very rare for people to, like murderers, to escape from prison and then go after people and murder them. Like that, I can't even think of in real life of that happening. It's
yeah.
so rare. Like, so why would she be paranoid that he's going to escape? I think the only reason would be if the other movies took place and he's escaped like eight other times.
Yeah.
She would be so paranoid that, sooner or later he's going to escape again and I'm going to be ready for him. Which is weird because in the third movie, the Halloween ends, they go the opposite. All of a sudden, she's back to normal,
Yeah.
living in a house, even though Michael Myers did escape, and now he's been on the loose somewhere for 5 years. But she's like, hey, now I'm no longer paranoid. They should have reversed it.
Yeah.
In this one, she should have been like, I have a bit of trauma from what happened to me when I was younger,
Yeah.
but he's probably never going to escape. And then he does. And then by the third one, in the last 5 years, she became a paranoid lady. But whatever. That's a fundamental flaw. It just doesn't quite make sense. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's a very well done movie. It's got great kills. Like Mike, they got the original Michael Myers actor. He's like much older now, but he's still
Yeah.
got that physically imposing presence. And it's just a really cool movie.
Yeah. I really like this one too. I love the idea of Laurie Strode as not a victim, but as a prepper. So she's like a doomsday prepper, but her doomsday is for when Michael Myers comes back. I like the fact that they do so many, and over these three, they do so many nods to the old movies as well. In this one, um, They even discussed that the fact that Laurie Strode is not the sister of Michael Myers, that was just some stuff that people concocted to make the whole thing feel like it made sense to them, and it doesn't make sense. That Laurie Strode is just somebody who he went after. So not related at all. They even in I don't know if I'm going to say it now. In Halloween Kills, in the next one, they even talk about how some of the cops who knew Michael Myers when he was a little kid, like who were kids with him, say that he was just a completely normal kid. He looked out the window a lot, like he was a bit quiet, but he wasn't like a psycho or anything like that. He wasn't walking around stabbing kittens or anything. He was just a quiet kid who snapped, which comes back to the whole thing what Tarantino said, that it's a lot scarier when you don't know why he's doing any of this. He's just doing it because
And I
he's,
kind of agree with that,
yeah,
but at the same time, I think I like it better with him being the sister.
yeah,
I think it works if you just stick with that original storyline and the sister, the niece, all that kind of thing.
yeah,
It works either way, and I could see it. Maybe it is scarier if it's like he just picked her for
yeah,
some random reason. You never know why, but I don't think it's like a blight on the
yeah.
movie that it is the sister.
Well, so he has been in the mental hospital, not speaking a word to anyone for 40 years, which is crazy on its own. But then these British podcasters come in and they want to try and they try to elicit a response from him by holding up his mask. And this is your first hint, and you don't get much of a hint in this movie of him being some sort of supernatural creature, other than this one spot in this movie. Things change later, but in this particular movie, they hold up the mask to him, and the scene that they do this in is really effective. I guess they get outside time at this mental hospital for the criminally insane, and when they do, they have to stand within a box and they're chained to the ground in that box, but they can't move outside the box, and nobody can come inside the box. And so it's just these dudes who are spaced out all across this yard in these boxes. And I found it very visually interesting. But so this British podcaster goes up and he says, "Well, we went to the Attorney General." And I'm not doing a British accent. "We went to the Attorney General and we got your mask. And do you like your mask, Michael? I'm holding up your mask. I'm holding up your mask to you, Michael. Do you like it?" And then the mood in the area, like something in the air changes. And all of the other mental patients start hooting and hollering and yelling, and even the dogs are whining because something's different. Something's happened. Michael kind of flutters his hand or something, or moves his head just a touch, but he doesn't get he doesn't give them the response that they want. Um, but I found that interesting. That's our one and only indicator in this movie that he's something beyond a human. And until you get into all the grievous injuries that he sustains throughout the movie. But, you know, and what's happening is we get to see that. We get to see a little bit of Laurie's history in the meantime. As we mentioned, that she is a prepper, like she's all full of guns and everything. She's raised her daughter Judy Greer, played by comedian Judy Greer. To be one of those people as well, but she was taken away by Child Protective Services as a child, as a 12-year-old, I think, and she's been trying to get over that traumatic part of her life where she was taught to shoot and fight and kill ever since. And she's got her own daughter now. And her husband is played by, I believe the character actor's name is Toby Huss, and I really like that guy. He's funny. He's been in so many things. These movies are full of people who you recognize, let's just say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the whole daughter and granddaughter situation?
I think it's interesting. If it didn't get the next two kind of get into weird plot family drama stuff that I don't
Yeah.
care so much for, but in this one, they didn't overdo it. So I think it was interesting. Like I say, I do have the what I said. I don't think it makes sense that she's a doomsday prepper at this point,
Yeah.
but if you just accept it for what it is, it's well done and they don't overdo it. So I guess I could say I like it.
Yeah. And we get into a point where they do rule number one for Michael Myers is you don't transport him anywhere. They decide that they're going to transport him to a new place, or to hell, let's just say. They call this other hospital that he's going to live out the rest of his days, hell on earth. So he's going to go live in hell on earth for a while. But they do the mistake in transporting Michael Myers because when you transport Michael Myers, that's when he makes his move. And his move also just happens to be on the 17th birthday of Laurie Strode's granddaughter. A lot of these things seem to happen on 17th birthdays as you go through, and
Yeah.
that's fine. They do the thing that you're never supposed to do. They transport Michael Myers. He causes some sort of bus crash. A whole bunch of mental patients get loose, and two unfortunate rednecks, a young boy and his father who were out hunting, encounter them along the road, and that's bad news because they get super killed. The kills in this movie are really brutal, like they're really visceral. They just started in this point in time, but they only get gnarlier as we go. Um, what is the first thing that Michael Myers needs to do after he is transported somewhere and gets loose? He needs to find a set of coveralls, and he needs to find his mask. And so that's what he goes to do next. And what do you think of what happened at the gas station?
I think that was a cool scene.
Yeah,
I think if I remember correctly, it reminds me of the scene that could have happened in H2O, where the mom and the daughter go and they're in the bathroom stall and
yeah,
then nothing happens. It seems like he was inspired by that. Like, why don't we take that,
yeah,
but actually make it a kill scene and a particularly brutal one?
yeah.
I think it was well done.
I think it was too. And before that even happens, you see a lot of him in white doing things in the background. And they don't bring attention to it with a musical sting or anything like that. But you can see him kind of skulking around, and you see him actually grab the guy whose coveralls he takes and brings him down like that, just off in the background while two characters are talking. It's really cool the way that they did all that. And even him approaching in the white, dressed in the gown. Um, yeah, the bathroom scene. Yeah, the British podcaster lady is in the loo. She's using the loo, and a big hulking man, you can tell by his feet, walks in, checks each stall individually, and when he gets to hers, he kind of rattles the door a little bit, and then throws a fistful of teeth over the door. Just really nasty and gross. And yeah, then he kills the British podcasters, and he liberates the third thing that Michael Myers needs to do, and that's get his mask. And so now he's ready to go. And one thing that I really, really appreciate about these movies in particular is that every time they show him, almost every time, not every time, because I'll talk about it in Halloween Kills, almost every time they show him when he's in Michael Myers mode, when he's in unstoppable killer mode, you don't see any eyes in the mask. And that's one thing that I love with these movies. When you see these killers like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers and they're wearing their mask and you don't see any eyes behind them. It's just straight up monster. Unkillable monster. And that's I think that that's when they're at their most effective, when they look the coolest.
Yeah, I agree. And a good thing with this movie too is that I think this might even be the best mask.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
absolutely.
And for the next three, regardless of what you think about the next
Yeah.
movies, I think the mask is always solid. So those days of having the shitty mask
Yeah.
are done because some of them, and even like the ones like I think even part four is like one of my favorites or my favorite. The mask was terrible.
Yeah.
There's those few movies there where it was just bad. So at least now they perfected that. So that's good.
Absolutely. Another thing that I really liked, just all the nods to different parts of the lore. Like on Halloween night, the kids that are out trick-or-treating are wearing the silver shamrock masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, all different variations of them. And it's in the next two movies that they'll be showing that. I really like the continuity between the two films as well. So characters that you see leaving their homes in Halloween, you end up seeing in wherever it is they were going in Halloween Kills. So that continuity is really good too, and they're wearing the same outfits that they were. So great work, continuity experts. It was good job. Um, I really liked also the fact that sometimes you could tell that Danny McBride co-wrote the film because there's some really funny, irreverent dialogue that goes on between some of the characters. That kid Julian, who's being babysat by Allison's friend, hilarious. This little kid.
If I had some other kind of babysitter, she'd be reading me a story. I wouldn't be up clipping my nasty ass toenails.
You know? Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was funny. I usually have a problem with humor or too much humor or the
Yeah.
style of humor in these movies because it can cause problems, like with LL Cool J and H2O and his
Yeah.
stupid
Buster Rhymes.
erotic writing, things
Yeah.
like that where it's like grown, kind of like takes you out of the movie. But
Yeah.
yeah, this one was like okay, like a little bit of that humor is kind of amusing, and it wasn't a funny movie at all. It
Yeah.
just had a few kind of funny dialogue in there, but they took it seriously, and it was it seemed at least temporarily here it was like wow, Halloween movies are finally back on track. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since we've seen a really good one. I mean, the Rob Zombie ones, regardless of what you think of it, it wasn't true Halloween. It was like Rob
Yeah.
Zombie's Halloween. Other than that, like there's probably a lot of people that didn't think there was a good one since 1981.
Yeah, for sure.
And even the ones I like were still the 80s. Like it'd been a
Mhm.
long time since there was like a true good one.
Yeah. And with Bloomhouse behind this, they could really do the effects work was top notch when it came to the kills. And I'm not talking like the showpiece kills. I'm talking every kill that happened in this movie looked gnarly. Like just gnarly stuff. And there's one I really took note of at the beginning where it wasn't super gnarly or gross, but it was really brutal in the respect that there's one woman who is on the phone with somebody and she's just putting down the blinds of her window and he comes up behind her and just the brutality and speed with which he stabs her twice. Like once from the throat and once in the back, like just in an instant he does it. And the way that they portrayed that was really cool. I mean, this movie is cool from beginning to end.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And also, more nods that I just thought of now. They talk about how Judy Greer's father is Ben Tramer in this movie, and but he passed away, unfortunately. Ben Tramer, who Halloween 2 absolutely did not happen in this universe because he did was not he got blown up and killed in Halloween 2 from 1981, and he managed to stay alive to father Judy Greer in this movie and how she's dating Lonnie Elam's son. Lonnie Elam, who told Tommy Doyle at the beginning of, or in the last one about the boogeyman living in the boogeyman
Oh,
house.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So all sorts of fun stuff in this movie. And I got chills watching the final sequence. So when Michael finally does manage to find the home of Laurie Strode. Oh, no, there's something else I got to bring up too. The guy who was Loomis's replacement, the guy who was Loomis's protege, he's a really nasty dude
Yeah.
because it looks like he's gonna be like he's learned all about Michael through the years and he's the protege of Loomis. But it turns out that he wants to feel like what Michael feels, and he does a sneaky double cross and tries to kill Sheriff Hawkins.
Yeah.
Not cool, man. Not
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And
That
he
was a nice little
traps
twist.
Allison Strode, or what's her last name? I don't know. Allison with Allison, the granddaughter, in the back of a cop car with Michael Myers, and that certainly wasn't cool. But he gets his head stomped in as a for his measure for good measure, so that's okay. Yeah, the
So what
last
would you give this
sequence.
one on a scale 1 to 10?
Oh, before we get there, I
Oh,
want to talk about the last sequence.
okay.
Last sequence of this movie is phenomenal. So Laurie's got a house full of Home Alone traps, okay? Except deadly Home Alone traps. And the whole time we're led to believe that this is a cage that she's trying to keep people out of, but really she's trying to this whole place when you get to it. If it's a first time watch, it'll blow your mind that it's actually a trap for Michael Myers to kill him because she wants to trap him in that basement and she's going to blow that house up. She's going to set it on fire, blow it up, and take him with it. And I think ideally she was going to take herself with him as well, but her daughter and her granddaughter happened to be in the house at the same time, so they all got out. Um, yeah. Overall, what did you think of it? What
Yeah,
would
I
you
think it
rate
was
it?
excellent. I give it an 8.
You know what? Hand-holding club again. I'm going to give this one an 8 as well. I rewatched it this morning. I never rated it initially because this was I watched it before I started rating movies. This is shortly before COVID. This movie came out. And I wasn't doing reviewing of movies at that point in time, but absolutely after rewatching it today, I would give it an 8. It was visceral. Every stab and every kill felt meaty, like it felt you could almost you could almost taste it if that makes sense. You could taste the brutality. And yeah, I really, really liked it. So that brings us to an end on our conversation of Halloween from 2018, the movie that, if you have a media server, makes everything all confused because it thinks it's 1978 and it thinks it's also Rob Zombie's Halloween because all three of them have exactly the same name with different years, and it's very confusing. So, remember to subscribe to Brandon's channel, Brandon versus Movies. I'm going to point there because that's the right way this time. And subscribe to my channel while you're at it so you can hear more conversations like this about movies that we like and movies that we also don't like. And come back next time for our discussion of Halloween Kills, the second of the David Gordon Green trilogy.